Hey y'all, Bloodwing here.
You sure
Back to
about
bring.
that? Like, you don't
Well,
sound like you're here.
the Hangout just popped up a little thing said the Hangouts on air is going away later this year.
Oh, so
Uh,
it is going away then.
yeah, and it just popped up on my Hangout screen. But anyway, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet. Welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where, according to Bear and Vanilla today, you get an extra side helping of the toilet.
You get an extra side helping of the commode.
That's right. With
Got
me
the
as
Thunder Boomer.
always, yeah, with me as always, and as you can tell, is Ira Bear. How you doing, buddy?
All right, mate. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine. Just fine. It's kind of rainy. Got some thunderstorms hanging on just off in the distance.
Thunder Boomer.
Yeah, waiting to see what them thunder boomers do. So if I suddenly disappear and don't come back, you'll know what happened. This is the American Midwest, and we are prone to power outages. So
Yeah,
it happens. It happens. That's why every Midwesterner worth their salt keeps a lot of candles around the house.
well, if it does, well, we'll just all assume that you're dead.
Yeah.
Like any rational person would.
Oh, Monkey might show up later. I just got a DM from him saying that if we're still going after his wife gets there with food and he eats it, he'll jump in because he's got manners and don't want to eat in front of us.
That's fair enough. I don't
Probably
have manners. I ate on stream on Tuesday, on Thursday. Sorry.
Probably didn't bring enough to share.
Of course not.
Right.
He doesn't have that Southern hospitality.
That's actually the would you call it the motto of my state, Indiana. It's they people that live in Indiana, they call them Hoosiers. No one knows why. It just come out of nowhere and it stuck. Everybody's called Hoosier, but they call it Hoosier Hospitality.
Hoosiers?
Yeah.
Hoosier Hospitality.
Yeah. The joke is it stands for Who's Your Daddy.
Oh, okay. Who's your daddy? Indiana State's your daddy.
Yeah, don't know. In fact, one of the big colleges, Indiana University, their ball teams are called the Hurricane Hoosiers. So, yeah, little bit of trivia for y'all there, like you care.
Fun facts from Mr. Bloodwing.
Yeah,
get him in now before the dementia sets in.
Exactly. You never know when that's going to happen. And before I forget, as the title says, happy day before Father's Day, y'all. I know I don't know that it's Father's Day where you're at, Bear, but you can celebrate with us in the U.S. if not.
No, it's the same.
Is it?
Yep. Me and Sinatra were trying to figure it out last night, and yeah, it is. We share the same Father's Day, but we don't share Mother's Day.
Exactly. That's why I didn't know if we did or not. So, yeah.
We have to stagger it because you know how women be. Like, men don't mind.
Yeah, they have to feel special.
Exactly. But us dads, men in particular, we don't care that our cousins in America are having it on the same day as us. We just hope that we get a nice new mug, really, or some socks.
Well, actually, the only thing I require is that they remember. If my 3 kids, all of them, just send me a text message saying, "Hey, happy Father's Day, old man." I'm perfectly happy. That's cool. Don't even need a mug. Although a good, nice coffee mug will never go to waste in my house.
Aye. If Viper's got the right idea, she's getting her daddy booze.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go tomorrow and probably drive up to where Dad's at in the God, I hate to call it an institution, but I don't know what else to call it.
Care home?
Yeah, in the care home he's in, and spend some time with him tomorrow. But other than that, no plans. Well, releasing the next episode of Redneck Track, but I'm aiming for about 5:30 EST for that. I figure that That'll be a good solid time for all the North American time zones, and not too late for our UK cousins.
Aye.
Thank you, Shelb Shock, for the donation. Never had a dad, but I have my grandfather. He doesn't have much time left due to a terminal disease. Taking him fishing and getting him fed proper. Happy Father's Day. Love you, you father figures, guys. Hey, even though it's your grandfather, your granddad, I'm a firm believer in it's not who is your parent or grandparent by birth, it's who does the job. That's what makes them. In fact, my paternal grandfather, who I call Papaw, was actually my dad's stepdad, because the worthless waste of air piece of crap person that was his actual dad left them when they were small, during the Depression, I might add. And never knew him, but his stepdad, who I call Pavel, come in, he done the job, and no one will ever tell me he's not my Pavel, or wasn't my Pavel, because he's been long gone for quite a while. James, thanks for reminding me. Yes, I did see that. We were discussing that just before I started the stream. Thank you for the donation on Streamlabs, and waiting for it to reload here. There we go. Hope all is well. May the thunderstorms let you stream. Yeah, me too.
Thunderstruck.
That's right. Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Why does he put a question mark on the time he says it? Good afternoon?
I don't know. Maybe he's just wondering. Maybe he feels it may not be a good afternoon for everybody.
That's true. That's true.
And there's that possibility.
Yeah. Could be saying good afternoon and asking how afternoon is.
Yeah, might be
a single sentence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I do hope all of you are doing well, and those that are fathers or have fathers, again, happy Father's Day tomorrow for you, because I may not see you all tomorrow. Well, there will be the premiere, so there'll be a chance then. But
make sure you stay tuned for that, folks.
Yeah. And hope it lives up to the hype. As I was telling Bear before the stream started, I got all the voiceovers recorded for yesterday, but I'm not sure I'm quite happy with all of them, so I might have to go in and change a little of it. But other than that, it's ready to edit.
Ever the perfectionist, mate.
Yeah, well, it's got to be at least funny to me, or I'm not going to think it's funny to you. So
I don't find Lord Bear videos funny before I put them out.
Yeah. I feel you. So, how you doing? How you been today, Bear? What's going on?
I've been good, dude. Did a 3-hour stream this morning. First time streaming on D Live as well, while I simulcasted. I don't know if Stargazer Nuts is here, but she was shilling away. Was really making a hard push for alternative platforms, as you do.
Right.
It was a good stream. Sin joined me for like the last 20 minutes. And that's been about it, really. Been watching a movie with the kiddies. I scripted a video that I need to record. That's about it, really, dude.
Yeah. And so how did that go, that D Live? I've never used it, never seen it used. I have no clue.
Real quick, James Colley's asking where my Streamlabs is. Don't throw any Streamlabs at me, mate. Throw money at Bloodwing, please. He needs it more at the moment. Please. I appreciate it.
Cirrus is God save me. I have an 8-hour car trip ahead of me, and my 15-year-old is driving. I remember those days. God love you. You know.
How's D Live? D Live is a nice website. Like no need to install dark mode because it already comes in dark mode. It's all right. I like it. Seems a little bit complicated at first, but it's all right, dude. It's all right. And of course, if Google Hangouts is going away,
yeah,
alternatives really.
they had talked about that some time ago. There was just some brief talk about it, and I'd forgot about it by now, and so it kind of took me by surprise that that little pop-up popping up there on the hangout screen.
Well, I mean, I know obviously you have bills to cover and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
if you put any of it aside towards a better laptop, so you can use something like OBS or XSplit or whatever, I recommend you do so, because if they take away Google Hangouts, you ain't get a better stream, dude.
Yeah, gonna have to find something. That's for sure. I don't know what the reasoning behind it is. They talked about it, but I don't remember what I read. Heck, I don't remember what I had for breakfast, folks. Don't expect too much out of me. But I guess they got a reasoning for doing away with it. But
To be fair, Google Hangouts is garbage.
it is, but it was a handy tool. It was garbage, but at least it was handy, you know.
I guess.
Well, for somebody like me that can't use the OBS and stuff like that, then it at least gives me an option. You know.
Viper's asking, is it worth enabling monetization on her channel? Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gets you in the algorithm. Just for that, really.
Gets you right in the algorithm, it does.
Yeah, right. That's some deep lack. Yeah, you want to do that anyway, just to like, if you're creating more content, Viper, as well, and if you're gonna stream a little bit more, then yeah, absolutely, it's worth it.
Yeah,
if you're able to, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah, do it. Get her done. Get her done. So I mean, you've got terrible weather inbound. You've had a lot of terrible weather this year.
That's par for the course for here. I mean, Indiana is right in the middle of Tornado Alley. Tornado Alley is a string of states that tend to have the most tornadoes, and it starts down in Texas and makes a northeasterly sweep right on up through our state. So, yeah, we're used to it.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't like to live in your state then.
Yeah, you get used to it. You know, like I said, the thunderstorms. You know, a thunderstrike will catch me by surprise once in a while, but usually, heck, I just enjoy them. You know, they're fun to watch, and and believe it or not, you can get used to the tornadoes too. You know,
start shooting at them, and
I don't recommend you get as used to them as I am, because I have been known to stand out on the porch watching. And that's really not a good thing to do.
Viper is doing a commission for the wife at the moment, who wants a brand new avatar.
Oh yeah,
who should be making videos.
Who, Vanilla?
Yeah. I assume she wants it for her channel, not even making content.
Vibers says she'd be out there chasing the tornadoes. Funny you say that. I was just watching a series that was about some tornado chasers out of Canada, by the way, just the other day on Netflix, and man, they caught some great footage, but my gosh, did they have to get close to do it. I'm like, y'all might not want to get that close. You might want to back up, because the speed of a tornado can fool you, and it can switch direction in a heartbeat. Trust me, seen it happen. Yeah, Maddie. Bear, do you mind sending Maddie an invite?
I don't mind, actually.
Viper Sword weather in particular just fascinates the crap out of me. That comes from my mother, because from the time I was little, a lot of her family were afraid of storms, and she made up her mind that her kids weren't going to be afraid of storms. So she always pointed out the beauty and the fascinating things about all types of weather to us kids. So,
both of you, Viper and Vanilla Bear, make videos.
Yeah. Thank you, so Visor, or Vizier. Wish your Streamlabs would be able to take my debit card, but it can't. So super chat it. Here is some for the bills. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm sorry. I could make it where it does take credit cards, but they want my social security number to do that, and I refuse. Nobody but the government or potential employers need that.
Yeah, the UK aspect of it as well is way too much information for my liking.
Yeah.
Hey, Maddie.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm going good. Waiting to see how long it takes what's her butt to block me. I'm sure it won't be long now.
Who's what's her butt? Oh,
this zombie unicorn idiot that I have been calling out all morning. Yeah.
Oh, that bitch has me blocked.
She hasn't blocked me. I don't know what it is with people not blocking me when I know I'm being rude, and they're just, they just keep either, letting me quote tweet them or engage with me, because it took me over 3 years to get Steve Shives to block me.
I was blocked before I even knew who he was.
I'm still not blocked.
I was like, who's this?
I'm still not blocked. It's my charm. It's my charm.
It's that southern charm.
Yeah. Only one of that group has me blocked, and it's doggone it, what's her name? The one that used to have that copyrighted artwork with the blonde cartoon woman.
Oh, Chrissy.
Yeah, she's the one. She's got
yeah. I'm blocked by Steve, Michael, who I guess saw my response videos to his trans crap, Christy, and Chrissyosity. The only person I'm not blocked with is Tim and Kevin Logan. Those are the only two that haven't blocked me.
Evil one says tornado touched down and then picked up and went over top of us and set back down. It was amazing. That actually happened when I was about 11 years old. A tornado would come up to the end of the block, jumped, went over the house, took the awning off our front porch as it went, and then landed on the other side. And the awning was the only damage that it done to the house, amazingly. Never did find that awning, by the way. It was gone.
Well, it's like I've got relatives that most of my relatives live in Miami, the ones that don't live, in Cuba. And we always made fun of my grandmother, God rest her soul, because she always had 6 half gallons of water in her refrigerator. We told her if anything happened, she would be just fine. She'd have enough water for a while so somebody could get to her. And the year Andrew blew by and stuff, when the lines came back up, we called her, and the whole conversation, obviously, we're going to have to translate her half. Well, I said, "How you doing, Grandma?" "I'm fine." How's everybody?" "Everybody's fine." "Nobody in the household?" "No, everybody's fine. Just fine." I said, "Grandma, you sound a little frustrated and strained. Are you sure everybody is, okay?" "Everybody is fine. The idiots that bought stilt houses are living in my house now with 2 bedrooms. I'm down to 1/2 gallon of water, and these idiots need to leave." I'm like, oh. Yeah. My grandmother's always been like that, because as soon as they moved from cinder block houses to the new style of houses in Miramar, Florida, and all the stuff which were not made of cinder blocks, was made stilt houses that were supposed to withstand hurricanes, but did not. So when they had substantial damage to their houses, they went back home to Grandma. And I'm sure the first thing she said was, "See, I told you."
Reminds me of when I was living in Kentucky. I had my Uncle Orville. Yes, I have an Uncle Orville, or had one. Was the only one in the area that had a storm cellar. So they'd all head over there to his house and run down the storm cellar. It'd get too cramped and crowded, so I'd stand outside. They were all scared of storms. And what are you doing out there? You need to get in here. I'm fine. I'm just fine. It's just a little rain. Thank you, Michael Weiner, for the donation. Happy Father's Day. Father's Day for me turns more into a Grandfather's Day, which is even more fun. Enjoy the day tomorrow, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will, or hope to. So yeah, that's our lesson on Midwest weather.
Starting to sound British, you lot. Like,
why is that?
Talking about the weather.
Yeah. Well, in our case, we're talking tornadoes, though, and yours is just rain and fog, ain't it?
It's a lot of rain as well. It's been ridiculous this last week. Really has.
Yeah,
Stupid.
It's been pretty bright here the last few days, but I knew the rain is coming because yesterday it dropped down. Overnight, the temperature dropped pretty low. So I knew that, the front had moved through. So here comes the rain. and I wasn't wrong.
Viper, stop wishing away good weather. We barely have decent weather in this country as it is.
Well, as Pink Floyd says, quiet desperation is the English way.
Yeah. It is.
It is. So I understand Maddie's on the phone with Ronan at the moment. So in case you're wondering where she
turns up to the stream, goes straight on the phone. Women.
Well, I'll cut her some slack because I know Ronan's on the road, so she has to take the calls when she can.
Oh, Viper, just get out in the bloody sun. Get some sun on that skin of yours. It make you feel better. It's good. It's good for mental health. Some of that vitamin. Is it vitamin D, the sun, or is it vitamin E?
D.
Yeah, get some of that vitamin dick. Vitamin D. Oh yeah, you'll be better. You feel better about yourself. Never. Defiant.
It's good for you.
Yeah, it's good for the skin. It's genuinely good for depression and anxiety.
Yeah,
especially for someone like you, Viper. You fucking typical bloody northerner. Yeah, the bear is correct. Well, I mean, it's not a be or end all kind of thing. Doesn't work for everybody as it is, but it can help. It can help. Get some fresh air.
Yeah.
He says as he sits in his tiny office smoking, filling the air with southern twats. Hey, there's no need for that kind of language here. This is a Christian channel.
You better be glad I know you're talking about Southern England.
Well, it's the opposite, dude.
We're about to fight if you're talking otherwise.
it's the opposite over here. You see, whereas in America, Northerners are seen as kind of like the pompous, upper class kind of people, and the Southerners are seen as like dumb rednecks. Over here, Southerners are seen as the kind of elitist, posh kind of people, whereas Northerners are northern monkeys and can't speak proper English.
Yeah. Well, here
called me a puns.
Here in the city I live in, Indianapolis, is kind of it kind of follows the whole the same thing. Southern Indianapolis is mostly poor folks and rednecks and what have you. The north are the rich people up near Carmel and all that.
Yeah, there you go. And there's Owen Harmon.
Yeah, thank you, Owen. Everyone knows Southerners are Shandy drinking fairies.
Yeah. I'm a Southern Shandy drinking fairy, and you're a Northern monkey. It's all good. It's all good, mate. It's all good. I like the banter between North and South. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're a Northerner if you live north of the Watford Gap. So.
Yeah. There's Pat. They're talking about England. They're not talking about the United States. It's the opposite here.
Yeah.
Because I already said I was about to fight if I knew they wasn't talking about England.
Shandy, what the fuck is that? Well, it depends on who you ask, really. You can buy cans of Shandy. Like, it's just like a soft drink that has like 0.5% alcohol in it. It tastes like lager, kinda. Has a lagerish taste to it.
Oh, so kind of like near beer. Or 3-2 beer.
I assume that's not actually a brand, but
no, it's a type of beer. In some states, they have a drinking age, or it used to be. They may have fixed this. Like I know years ago when I was about 18, maybe 19, I went to West Virginia on a road trip with some friends, and here where I live, the drinking age is 21, but there it's 18. However, the only thing that you can buy at 18 is near beer or wine. Near beer has a very low alcohol content. You'd have to drink a case of it before you even felt anything. And before you got drunk, your eye teeth be floating, you know. Now they may have changed that since then, you know. Of course, now once you reach 21 in those states, then you could drink the hard stuff and the regular beer. Thank you, James Colley, for the donation. Okie beer. Yeah. Michael Weiner says 3-2 beer is not the same as a Shandy. Yeah, I have no idea. I've never been to England, although Bear thinks I have to go and, you know, drop a little seed. But
it depends on what you mean. Like if you go into a bar and you get a Shandy from behind the bar, like a pint, it's like lager mixed with lemonade. But there's also a brand of like soft drink that you can buy, and it comes in a small can. It's called Shandy. And it has like next to no alcohol content. It tastes, it's basically fizzy pop, but it kind of tastes like lager, kinda, you know?
Yeah.
It's all right. It's not bad.
Yeah, of course you have other states like Kentucky, where my family's all from, just directly south of Indiana here, where they have several dry counties. The whole state isn't dry, but several of the counties are. By dry county, that means alcohol, it cannot be sold there. It's illegal. Thank you, old grouchy gamer, for the donation. You know you're old when you can remember 3-2 beer, right? I know. But that doesn't mean there isn't a lot of drinking goes on in those counties. Because I remember when I was living in this little town. I won't tell you the name of the town because that might give you a big clue on who I am, or at least who I'm related to. But most of my family's from a little town in Kentucky that's got about 600 people in it.
It's related to Hillary.
Yeah, just a little bitty place. But one of my cousins lived across the street from the local bootlegger. And the local bootlegger would drive 2 counties over to Campbellsville and buy up a bunch of cheap beer and, you know, the cheapest whiskey he could get or whatever, and come back and sell it for a premium price out of his house. Funny thing is that the town sheriff lived next door to him.
Jack in the chat there is talking about a snake bite. Snake bites are dirty, man. They really are. Do you know what snake bite is? Bloodwing?
Not really.
Snake bite is it's when you mix cider and lager together.
Oh.
Yeah, it's dirty drink. Really dirty.
Are they all drinking moonshine in those states? They do drink shine. I've actually accidentally once in my life, believe me, it was very accidentally, walked up on a still. One time, I think I've told the story, but I walked away, backed away slowly because somebody was shooting at me from a distance. You know, one of those was where you see the dirt fly up in front of you, and then you hear the crack of the rifle. You know, and
snakes biting black.
I
sorry.
Figured as close as they were getting to me then, from that distance, they could hit me if they wanted to. So I backed away real slow. But yeah.
Owen saying snake bite and black. My mate used to drink that shit religiously and then expect me to rub his back as he threw it up afterwards. I just told you what snake bite is, but a snake bite and black is when they also put some black currant in it. Some black currant cordial to give it a different color and a bit of a different taste as well. I mean, you ever had a Terminator before? It's an interesting drink.
Yeah,
can't remember what's in it though.
Yeah, real moonshine's not bad. I've certainly drank my share of it.
Of course you have.
It can be pretty potent. I remember years, be late 70s probably. We had a jar of moonshine, me and my buddies. This isn't store-bought. This was the real deal, made in a still. And the first solid chug I took out of it took my breath and also took my sight for a few minutes. I couldn't see.
I'm not surprised.
It's like, oh, geez, where'd everybody go?
That's just, oh no. I give it a go though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's got quite a kick. It's not real smooth, but amazingly, it doesn't taste bad.
What does it taste like?
Well, most of it's made out of corn, so it's kind of, sort of, slightly has a little bit of a corn type taste to it.
Mm.
Joel Brown, what is the alcohol percentage of moonshine? It's high. It's very high, although it depends. It can vary.
I bet it is. Bloody akin to bloody wallpaper thinner or paint thinner, isn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah. You could probably use it to thin paint or to peel paint off your walls, or
get the wallpaper off if you want a different one. Strip the paint off your car, but
thank you. The next 6 minutes for their donation. BW and Bear fist bumps. How are you guys today? I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm fabulous, darling. I'm fabulous.
Fabulous.
Just fabulous.
Yeah. But it's it's of course, you can take Coca-Cola and pour it on a car's paint job and it will bubble the paint.
To be fair though, like Coca-Cola,
if it's left,
you could destroy someone's teeth with them.
Yeah.
Like,
pretty much.
Like literally as well. Just so stupid.
Owen Harmon says my father-in-law makes Palix in his basement. It's a Hungarian fruit brandy. It's at least 50% alcohol. Ooh. Really, that's interesting. Although my only real experience with brandy was a blueberry brandy that I somehow got a hold of and drank as a teenager, and oh God, did it make me sick. I come home and my mom heard me come stumbling in. And I'm ralphing in the toilet, one of those where you're praying to God and swearing you'll never drink again.
Yeah.
And I had the long hair then. My mom come in, she held my hair for me. And the whole time she's saying, it's what you get. It's what you get. It's your fault. It's what you get.
I've been there, dude. It's usually wine I don't do well with. Just throwing it up isn't so bad though, because it tastes like lemonade when it comes back up.
I don't rightly remember what that blueberry brandy tastes like the second time around, but I'm pretty sure I don't want to remember because it was I was off blueberries for quite a while after that.
Yeah, I bet, dude. I bet it really depends on the night for me, I guess. Depends if I throw up or not. It's been a long time since I drank. Like one thing I hate throwing up is JD, man. JD and Coke. It tastes like stomach acid as it comes back up. It burns.
Yeah,
it tastes like heartburn.
I went through my Jack Daniels and Coke phase back in the late 70s. Never been a real whiskey person, and never. I hear people talking about it, and oh, it's smooth, and oh, it tastes so good. People that really like whiskey, and I'm like, ooh. No, it doesn't. I mean, I drank a lot of it, but I never thought it tasted good.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good. Like
I've had better tasting cough medicine, and I hate cough medicine. My wife laughs at me because every time I take a dose of cough medicine, which I generally have to do about every winter, because at some point I'm going to get a cold or flu. It's just going to happen. But take a dose of that cough medicine, and I'll do that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do that with pretty much any spirit, except for rum. I don't do it with rum. Well, it passes rum, kick the absolute teeth to the back of my throat. But
oh, I do like rum. I do like rum, and
I don't think you'd like this rum that I'm talking about.
I don't know. At one point in my life, I was a pretty big fan of Bacardi's 151 proof.
Yeah, I had that in Trinidad and Tobago and Miami. And that shit is powerful.
Oh yeah,
80%. But no, Pusser's rum, like old school Navy rum. Yep. It's not even a proper brand, mate. You wouldn't have ever heard of it. Had it in Gibraltar. Oh, it's like most rum has a certain sweetness to it, right?
Yeah.
This shit, it tastes like it's like somebody put whiskey in the bottle and just put the label Pusser's rum on the front of it.
Well, rum is made from sugar cane, So
yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, Sarah, the shutter. You got it exactly. That's what cough medicine makes me do.
Plus this rum is stinking. Yeah, Bacardi 151. I was well, I say I was all right with that. Like my mate was like, "Here, have this. What is it? Just drink it." Okay. Gullible idiot that I am. And I had a shot of it. Oh, fire.
I went through a lot of phases in my life, after the rum phase, I went through a gin and tonic phase for quite a while.
Right, you middle-aged woman?
No, I was 19 years old at the time, I think, and living in California. In fact, if you opened I lived with 2 other guys, we shared the rent, and if you looked in our fridge, about the only thing you would find in there for sure was a bottle of gin, along with maybe a package of bologna, some tofu, and avocados and tortilla shells.
Avocados?
Yeah, we'd take
You're
the
actually
tofu.
a millennial, aren't you?
No, we'd take the avocados and mash them up, and the tofu, and make burritos, like impromptu burritos out of them, wrap them in the tortilla. It wasn't good, it wasn't tasty, but at least it was food on our belly.
Yeah, I guess. Bloody, you're actually a millennial, like, and somehow
I was a
a
millennial
middle-aged.
before they were for real, because we're talking 1979.
Yeah, and somehow a middle-aged woman.
Yeah.
Gin. I remember a friend, like when I was a teenager, like 14, 15, and friends like, "Oh, let's go to the rock club, let's go moshing." Turn up to my house, what would look like a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper, and half of it was gin.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh."
Sarah says, "Oh, a poor man's burrito, done that many times." Yeah. I mean, if we were lucky, we could afford a can of refried beans, to throw in there and give it some flavor. But yeah, you do what you have to do to survive sometimes. Of course, if we wasn't stupid young men, we would have quit buying all the gin and spent it on food. But when you're 19 years old, it's more important to party.
You could have bought tinned beans and spaghetti, but you opted to have an avocado instead.
It was actually cheaper there, because that's it's native to that area, so it was cheaper, and that was by far the cheapest way to eat at that time and place.
No beans?
If we were lucky, we got some beans. We'd get a can of refried beans, or we'd buy some beans and make our own. But
all right, fair enough then.
Yeah, we really weren't worried about what went in our bellies to eat. We were more worried about partying.
Of course.
As you do when you're young and dumb.
Yeah, I get it. Totally get it.
Yeah. Atheist Icon says, "I have a gin and tonic every so often. If it's made properly, other than the alcohol kick, you can't tell much difference between that and a citrus drink. Put some lime in there. Yeah."
Ugh. Mind you, I don't really drink booze anymore anyway, so.
No, me either. Maybe just a couple, 3 times a year, maybe at most. And probably the last phase I went through, which has been, oh gosh, my goodness, it's been 15 years ago. Probably I went through this phase. Used to drink what was called, I believe it was called a Rusty Screw, which was orange juice, but I used Sunny D.
Sunny Delight was delicious.
With a healthy shot of peach schnapps, and the rest vodka.
Okay.
Very tasty, and
it.
It would sneak up on you.
Of course it would.
It was so tasty, you'd down one of them real quick because it tasted so good, and think, "Oh, geez, I'll have another." And while you're getting up to go get it, you go, "Whoa." Maybe not.
Yeah, drinks like that are a bit dangerous, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like juice. You stand
Fuzzy
up and the world fucking ends.
Dog. Yeah. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
So what you got, Bloodwing? What you got?
Well, there are a couple of things that that are on my mind today. One of them really that ticked me off that I talked about on Twitter earlier, but I didn't show at the time how mad I was because I was afraid if I did, I'd probably get put in Twitter jail. But
you don't call people names though.
I felt like it today.
Oh, who was it?
Did. Well, I honestly, at the moment, I've got to go pee already, so I'm going to go do that. And then when I get back, we'll talk about it. And maybe then Maddie will be back and Monkey will be here, and we'll just see what everybody thinks about it. But I'll be right back, Bear.
Okay, fair play. What's going on, everybody? I hope you're well. Oh God, I've spent a lot of time streaming today already. 3 hours on my channel, 2 hours here when we're done. I got to get this video done. I don't really want to do anything video related tomorrow, and if I do, it's going to be irate Alex stuff. Yeah, Viper said you could always bring me on if you're bored. It's not my stream, Viper. It's not my stream. Bloodwing is the host. If you'd like to come on, you'll need to ask him. 40 minutes, collect your winnings, folks. There you go. Pat's off to work. I'm off work. If possible, I can join. Fire DMs at Bloodwing if you want on. Although I'm sure he'll want to keep it limited to 4 people. Monkey, Maddie, myself, and Bloodwing. That's already 4, isn't it? No, just joking. Yeah. I'm great, Bear. How are you since this morning? Well, I'm fine, thank you. I'm all right. Just chilled out. I mean, I've got this video that I'm going to be putting out on the main channel. I don't know whether I'll get it out tonight. I kind of don't want to be doing any kind of like YouTube stuff tomorrow. And if I do it, I really want to kind of focus on the second channel. It's a video response, and I think this might be a little bit spicy. Just a little bit, just a splash of spice. It might get a bit shouty as well. Chopped it up, I've wrote the video, need to record it, need to do the editing. That shouldn't take me too long. You should enjoy a nice Father's Day tomorrow, Bear. Well, yeah, exactly. It's like I've got to put in the work now so I don't have to sit on my computer tomorrow and dig deep. But I might miss a day on the second channel. Let the latest Lord Bear video stew for a bit. Let it stew for a bit. Let's spend some time brainstorming tomorrow, I'm sure. I want to create a new character for the second channel. I need something more than just the typical IA videos to kind of offset Lord Bear. I need something else. I need to start creating my because I want to try to get into like voice acting. You see, guys. So I need to create a new character to start building a portfolio. They don't call it a portfolio, though, do they? I forget. Like, there was this guy who wanted me to get in touch with his friend who's like doing a bridge series on YouTube, and I got in touch with the guy, and he asked if I had a demo reel. And I said, nah, but I got a YouTube channel, and he hasn't responded to me. So I assume he's not taking me seriously. So I guess I need to create a demo reel. I need a character, and it won't be anything called like Bear this or Bear that. It'd be something completely different,
I think Joel Brown at least is hitting on it there. He says, I think they call it a reel, some kind of reel.
Yeah, it is a reel. It's a demo reel, yeah. It's a shame because I did have a demo reel. Ooh, you're fancy. Well, I was trying to get into it a while back, so I created one. I should create a new one, a new character. Maybe 1 or 2 characters, really. Or maybe they could be a duo, 2 characters at once. Actually start with the lore before. I've only just now started creating lore for Lord Bear.
Right.
Like, Lord Bear's like 2 years old. Yeah, I need something. I need a little something to I need to decide on the type of content it's going to be as well. Because at the same time, it needs to be more than just a demo reel. It needs to be an entertaining character that people like, that people find entertaining. It doesn't need to be funny, not necessarily funny, you know, but it needs to be interesting. It needs to have background story. It needs to be able to double up as a video content as well as a demo reel, you know?
Well, you are an entertaining character, Bear.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Bloodwing is my internet dad. He's done more for me than what my real dad did, so...
Yeah, well...
kinda, but, you know...
I may be a lot of things and not all of them good, folks, but one thing I do try to be is a good person. I try. Not always successful. I'd be a liar if I said I was. But I do give it a shot. The only thing I want on my gravestone when I go is he tried to be good.
I like that.
Yeah. Thank you, James Cully, for the donation. Bear, think you can trick Satsu into coming back to be your butler again? What is butler? Was he slave?
I tricked him into slavery. That's funny, man. I sent him a script. I said, "Yo, can you record these lines?" He did. I didn't give him any context, no nothing. And then I spun it how I wanted to.
Yes, you did. I remember that very clearly. I thought that was hilarious, actually. Oh, okay. So,
spill the beans, old man.
What's on the old man's brain today? Well, let's see.
Dementia? Alzheimer's?
Probably right around the corner. No, of course it has to do with Twitter again, doesn't it always? And Twitter's where all the stupid comes out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But this really particular thing, this really ticked me off a whole lot more than I showed in my response on Twitter. Because like I said, I was afraid if I said what I wanted to say, I'd probably go to Twitter jail or might get just taken right off. I guess earlier today, Donald Trump sent out a tweet that said the Trump economy is setting records and has a long way up to go. However, if anyone but me takes over in 2020, I know the competition very well. It says in brackets, there will be a market crash the likes of which has been not been seen before. Keep America great. Now, as far as the economy, he's correct. It is up, and it's up the highest it's been for quite some time. The rest of that, I don't know. I don't know enough about the other candidates to be able to tell you. It doesn't, but it really doesn't matter to the conversation we're about to have here. Then some fella named Zach Hunt, and I don't know who the heck he is, but he's checkmarked.
Of course. That's how all great battles starts.
He's a check mark, which is your other clue that this is going to be stupid. But he pipes in with, I would rather live through another Great Depression than have to endure 4 more years with you in the White House.
Oh, no.
Now, let that sink in, folks. Let me reread what he said. I would rather live through another Great Depression than have to endure 4 more years with you in the White House.
Is he insane? Does he know anything about the Great Depression?
Apparently not.
Are you in? I know more about the Great Depression than this idiot does.
Apparently not. And the only comment I made on it, because somebody sent it to me, tagged me into it. I don't remember who now. And I could switch back over and look, but I like to keep that stuff to a minimum on my computer because you know how it acts. But anyway, I said, as somebody whose parents came out of the Depression, and they did, and told me all their stories, you know, so I've got maybe secondhand information, but pretty good secondhand information, you know, from people that lived it. No, he doesn't want that. He's just grandstanding. overreacting, because the moment that he had to eat just plain old beans or even grease gravy, you know, and if you don't know what grease gravy is, just old bacon grease with some flour thrown in there, just so he's
I can't
got
imagine that's
something on his
pleasant.
belly for the 15th time in a row, just so he doesn't starve to death, he'd fold like a cheap suit.
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ, the Great Depression, man. There were roving packs of men traveling across America by foot to find work.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me remind you, folks, the Great Depression wasn't just in the United States. It was worldwide. It affected the entire world.
He's what a moron. So yeah, you're going to walk from, I don't know, Manhattan, you know, somewhere upmarket like that. You're going to walk from there all the way to, you know, one of the states where there's like a lot of farming going on. But guess what? They offer up bed and board, and basically that's your wages, food, bed and board. You know, you might get some money.
Yeah,
a little bit.
You know, like I said, both my parents, and I'm about to give you a little history lesson here. If y'all want to sit there, have a pop a squat on the floor there in a circle, old Papa BW going to tell you a story. Both my parents come out of the Depression, but Dad's a little older than my mom was, and he was in Kentucky, in the middle of the hills, where Mom was here in Indianapolis. So it kind of hit him a little bit harder than it did Mom. You know, he went through a little bit rougher time than Mom did because of the Depression.
Mm.
And he would absolutely tell me stories of having nothing to eat but beans, and just little scraps of flour were worth their weight in gold, you know, because you could make bread and flour, and you could take flour and put it in soup stock to thicken it up, or you know, make some kind of gravy out of it or whatever, just so that your belly didn't go empty, you know.
Yeah.
Literally making clothes out of burlap sack, because that's all the material you had. Now, if you've ever handled a burlap sack, you know that's rough stuff. You know, and you know, not having electricity, and
he said the Great Depression. Yeah. Has he never seen the movie Of Mice and Men?
Heck, he needs to watch The Grapes of Wrath, which it's a very old movie, and it's all about the Great Depression and the migration from the Dust Bowl. From the area of Oklahoma and all that. And a very good movie, But yeah, so this, not only is this guy a moron because he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's a selfish moron because he's willing to drop this entire planet back into one of its darkest times in modern history, where starvation and malnutrition were a very real thing in first world countries, just so he doesn't have to look at Donald Trump's face for another 4 years.
We should honestly send these people to some of the most like impoverished places in the world, you know, just for a week, 2 weeks, you know, let them get a taste of what it's really like to be hungry, to go hungry at night, you know, to not be able to put clothes on your back.
Yeah.
Or to if you're lucky enough to actually find a job, that job is extremely labor intensive and pays a square root of bugger all.
Yeah. I mean, folks, I grew up on all the stories from my parents and my grandparents on both sides about what the Depression was like, what they had to go through. All the hardships that they had. My grandmother, my dad's mom, was a single mother of 3 during the Depression, because, like I said, that waste of crap that actually fathered my dad, my uncle, and my aunt took off and left them alone in the middle of the hills of Kentucky, and they had it so bad they absolutely had to depend on the goodness of other people, you know, to share the vegetables out of their gardens with them and so forth, because there wasn't any food stamps back then. There was no welfare system to speak of, you know.
Yeah.
And I hear all the horror stories from all the old people there. And in fact, there is a stone wall down where I'm from in Kentucky, all the way down a portion of State Road 127 in Kentucky, that my great grandfather helped build as part of the WPO, which was a, you know, go back to work program that FDR had during the Depression.
Yeah.
And you know, I've heard all these stories, and you know, I think I have a pretty good working knowledge of what the Depression was really like. And this idiot wants us to go back to that just because he's mad at Trump. And why? Trump has never done a single thing that has hurt this guy.
Yeah.
Not a single thing. The only thing he's done is raise the economy.
Like this guy that said that, like, what do you know what he does for a living?
WPA, Prospero. Thank you. I misspoke. You were right. What, Bear?
Do you know what he does for a living? This guy that said that?
He's some kind of preacher or something. I don't know.
A preacher.
I got the feeling from his bio that he was more an anti-theist, but somebody in the chat said he was some kind of preacher or something. I don't know.
I've seen some crazy bitch on Twitter earlier. Not one of them anti-vaxxer types. It always hurts when I have to call out one of our own. You know, she's on the right. She's a conservative, but God, she's stupid. And we'll get to that in a minute. I want to see this guy's Twitter,
but
because I don't care. I'll call the guy a prick.
Gosh, I mean, I know that TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is a real thing because I've seen it in action. You know, all the people hollering "re" at Trump for no reason. You know, impeach him. Okay, go ahead, do it. You know why?
As far as I know, Trump hasn't gassed anybody.
Yeah, you know why you're not impeaching him? Because you don't have grounds to, and you know it.
Yeah.
Or you would have already done it. Quit hollering about it. And it's not that I think that he's the greatest thing since sliced white bread. No, I disagree with him quite often. In fact, there's something I disagree with him on that happened today that we'll also talk about a little bit later. But this guy, for me, in my mind, has the worst case of TDS that I've ever seen. I mean, he's willing, or at least according to his words, to throw us back in one of the darkest time of world history. It's not just the States. The entire world was affected. You know, the Depression played a big part in the rise of Nazism in Germany.
Yeah, absolutely was. That's why Trump. That's why Trump. I think of Hitler and my mind goes straight to Trump. See, look what they've done to me.
Because Trump.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things that Hitler did. It's why everyone loved him so much.
Yeah,
because he saved the economy. He introduced a new currency, you know, and rebuilt it.
But this guy is mad at Trump. Why? He's willing to go back into another depression. Why? What has Trump done to you personally, fella? Nothing. He hasn't done anything to you.
You think nationalism is bad now?
Yeah, he hasn't hurt you in the least. Now, in my mind, this TDS all goes back to sour grapes because he won in 2016. And nobody thought he would, you know, or most nobody thought he would win. It was quite a shock. And they were, you know, all the Democrats were darn well sure he didn't have a chance. In fact, it was going to be a landslide by Hillary, you know, according to what they predicted. And it didn't turn out that way. And of course, immediately the next day, they were all out there. Oh, you know, he's going to put us all in concentration camps, and this is going to happen. This is the darkest day in U.S. history. And none of that stuff happened. And they look and they see that none of it happened. So they got to throw stuff out there, but they're angry because their predictions didn't come out. He wasn't this totally racist second coming of Hitler that they all said he was.
Yeah. So what tweet was this on?
In fact, I think you were tagged into it too, as well.
Was I?
I believe so. On your Irate Bear account. Let me see here. It came from David S. And yes, you were tagged into it too. It was about 4 hours ago.
I tend to mute people when they tag me and a bunch of other people in the same tweet.
Yeah.
Because it's quite annoying. I've got to scroll down and find it.
Or you can go to my timeline and find where I responded to it. Did you get it? Okay.
Yeah, found it. Yeah. I would rather live through another Great Depression than have to endure 4 more years with you in the White House. Right. Okay.
And yes, Owen Harmon, you heard that right. You heard that exactly right. He said he would rather go back to the Great Depression than to have 4 more years of Trump. And my question is why? I get it. You guys are Democrats. You don't like Trump. I understand that. You make that clear every day. But what has he done to you that deserves us going back to the Great Depression instead? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm just busy quote tweeting it now.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right, Kyler. If you strip away all the hyperbole, Trump hasn't been that bad of a president. I don't think he's the best president we've ever had, but I think he's a far cry from the worst president we've ever had. You know, it's just, I don't understand. And also, I think part of it is you've got this generation of people that think that they know what history is because they saw a video once. But he ain't got no clue. Because if he did, he wouldn't make that comment.
Mm.
You know, you get your hat first. Is it the tinfoil hat, Mr. Adam? Because if he had any clue of what the Great Depression was really like and really was about, just no freaking way.
The man is actually insane. The Federalist calls me the Friar Tuck of the Resistance. Oh my God. Sorry, Neckbeard, but you are not you're not a revolutionary. You're not a soldier. You're not. Oh, you know what? You could do with some starvation, you fat twat.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I looked on his profile and seen his picture. I'm like, you know, you could last a little while without food to eat.
Oh, he's selling a book on Amazon, Unraptured.
Yeah, I'd give him a couple of days standing in a bread line, which were a thing. Standing in that long line, waiting just to get some bread to eat. And before he cried uncle. Like, no, I didn't mean it. I want Trump back.
You know what, right? I may not like Jeremy Corbyn, but there's a good chance he could one day be our prime minister. And there is no freaking way that I would ever say anything remotely close to that.
Well, no, I was not a fan of Obama. And I'm still not. Screw you, Obama. You ruined my insurance. For one thing. But I'd rather see another 4 years of Obama than to see us get back in the Great Depression. Good grief. One of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen on Twitter, and that's saying something. Pat, I'm not sure if I saw it or not. I don't know. My memory's so bad.
You know what? I would rather risk, right, running around and hiding around Nazi Germany during its height, than wander through the Great Depression.
Absolutely.
Good Lord.
You know, at least, you know, unless you were an undesirable, you're
I am an undesirable.
Yeah, you would be.
I'll just say, nah, it's a tan, Hitler. It's a tan. got a bit Greek, a little bit of Greek in me.
I don't think he would buy it because I don't think he ever got over Jesse Owens.
A little bit of Italian in me.
You're familiar with what I'm talking about there, aren't you?
No.
Oh yeah. You know, the Olympics was actually held in Nazi Germany in the 30s.
Oh, there was a black guy there, wasn't there?
Yeah, Jesse Owens.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know his name. Didn't know his name.
He swept the thing.
Well, of course he did.
And there's pictures of Hitler sitting in the audience and, oh my gosh, if looks could kill.
Yeah, I'd imagine Hitler would have used his laser eye attack if he could. I hide you in my cellar, mate. There you go. See, at least I get fed and housed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. I mean, it's not that I'm not used to seeing stupid on Twitter, people, and it's not that I'm not used to seeing severe TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, but this just struck me as the most god awful, ill-informed, narcissistic tweet I've ever seen in my life.
It's insane. That's quite possibly the dumbest thing I've seen this year.
Yeah.
And I've seen Riley Dennis videos this year.
Exactly.
Jedi Ghost, it's not a problem, dude. It's I get tagged in a lot of things, and it's not you, but there are some people. I'm not going to mention who they are by name or whatever, but there are some people out there that would tag like me and a whole bunch of other content creators, and it's usually in some shit like garbage, you know. And I don't really pay attention to tweets like that.
Yeah, Jedi Ghost, and let me confirm what he says. I'm not even as big as Bear or Monkey or the other guys. You know, I've got 900 and something followers on Twitter. But you do get mass tagging sometimes. I mean, way worse than what you did. You had what? Maybe
yours was fine. I should have actually bothered to look at it.
But sometimes you'll get them with 15, 20 names on them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I tend to look right past myself. I don't even hardly bother to look.
It's usually somebody trying to shill a video and hoping that the people that they tag, they'll retweet it or whatever. It just, I don't mind people doing it. It's like whatever, you know. Like I get why people do it and stuff. They want to grow. They're hoping that, you know, another content creator will shill it out there, help them grow, whatever. But it's just I get a lot of it, you know.
Grill and Pirate Peace. Yes, I'm very well aware of how FDR trade. FDR was always afraid. He wanted to act like he was for civil rights, but he was always afraid to outwardly show it because he didn't think the public would buy it and then go turn against him, which was one of the things that Eleanor hated about him. Just really frustrated her to death because she was always trying to get him to stand up for civil rights, and he wouldn't do it. Of course, don't get me started on FDR. Well, like I've said before, while I think he was the absolute right guy for the job for World War II, the right president for World War II, he certainly had a lot of issues. He was not a good person.
Real quick, Jedi goes to bed. Don't be afraid to tweet like me and tag me and stuff, dude.
Yeah. Dude.
It's just me just making an assumption, mate. Just
what you did was not bad. Like I said, sometimes we get them with 15, 20 people tagged into it.
Yeah, honestly, like usually it's a creator it's usually creators that are guilty of it, to be honest.
You keep up the good work, dude. Keep up the good work. If I get frustrated with you, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I have no problem letting you know.
I would say that it's the same with Churchill.
Yeah.
He was the right man for the job at the time. But the man was mental. the man, what's that? The plan that he came up with to wipe out communism. I always forget what it's called. It has like an operation name. The man was insane.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it. The only thing that's coming to my mind was Operation Barbarossa, and that ain't it because that was Hitler's invasion of Russia.
That's it. Operation Unthinkable. He wanted to invade Russia after World War II.
Yeah.
Like he was the right man for the job for World War II. He inspired, you know, millions of British soldiers and people, citizens, or whatever. But it's a good thing he wasn't allowed to carry on.
Yeah. No,
the guy was a bit mad.
And honestly, historically, good wartime leaders do not make good peacetime leaders. at all. I mean, that's just a historic fact.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know if you all heard that, but I just about pooped my pants there.
FDR, Churchill, they're both heroes in my mind. You know, they were both grand leaders. They were what we needed at the time. And they got the job done from the perspectives of commander in chief, you know, for respective countries. But Churchill, outside of that, not a good idea.
Yeah, FDR absolutely was not a good person. Not a good person at all. Good wartime leader, bad person. Does it work the other way around, Bloodwing? Are you talking about, does a good peacetime president make a good wartime president? Yeah, not always. And we can see evidence of that with, well, for instance, Jimmy Carter, heck of a guy, nice man. But we were in the middle of a conflict with Iran. Remember the whole hostage thing? I know some of you weren't alive when that happened, but if you haven't heard about it, go look it up. They held several American hostages for a long time, and so the big thought of the day, you know, the thing that was biggest on everybody's mind is get those hostages out of there. And Jimmy was not good for that period. So yeah, of course, I'm of a firm belief that nice people don't make good leaders. They just don't.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this plan. It's a good thing we never did it.
Well, it probably wouldn't have been a good idea because it wasn't too long after World War II that the Ruskies had their own atomic bombs because, you know, they spied on us.
For Churchill's plan seems to have involved, obviously, the UK, the United States of America, the Wehrmacht under Allied command, and Poland. And it looks like he wanted to be commander of the whole thing to go up against Joseph Stalin. Oh, wow. Operation Unthinkable was a code name of two related unrealized plans by the Western Allies against the Soviet Union. They were ordered by British Prime Minister Winston Churchill in 1945 and developed by British Armed Forces, Joint Planning Staff at the end of World War II in Europe. The first of the two assumed a surprise attack on the Soviet forces stationed in Germany in order to impose the will of the Western Allies and on the Soviets. The will was qualified as square deal for Poland, which probably meant enforcing the recently signed Yalta Agreement. When the odds were judged fanciful, so English, isn't it? Fanciful. The odds are fanciful. Attack! The original plan was abandoned. The code name was used instead of a defensive scenario in which the British were to defend against the Soviet drive towards the North Sea and the Atlantic following the withdrawal of the American forces from the continent. The study became the first Cold War era contingency plan for war with the Soviet Union. Well, so yeah, he had an offensive and defensive plan.
Yeah. Look, folks, if there's any one thing that history has taught us, leave Russia the heck alone unless it's absolutely necessary. Because it doesn't turn out well. Look at Hitler. Look at Napoleon.
Yeah. That's one of the big lessons actually that we were taught in history. It's like Hitler made exactly the same mistake that Napoleon did.
He did. Absolutely, he did. That was the death knell to, in my opinion, Operation Barbarossa, where the Nazis attacked Russia, was the death knell for the 1,000-year Reich. That was it. Hitler should have been focusing on the West. He should have been focusing on defeating England. No offense, I'm just talking historically and logically. He should have been focusing on that instead of turning his attention east. And it hit him in the butt.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Stupid bastard. You're in a world war. You don't want to open up another theater of war.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, he had the thing pretty much at one front. You know, just one front. until he opened up the Eastern Front, and that was the death knell. You know, after that, it was just a matter of time before it failed.
Midnight in Exile. YouTuber gives Hitler strategic advice in 2019. Well, yeah, that was the big mistake he made, really.
Yeah.
If he'd kept pushing on England and America hadn't got involved, we would have folded.
And yes, Jedi Ghost Bear Patton was a huge proponent for, number one, not trusting the Russians, but yes, he did push for an attack. But as I stated earlier, and it's a true statement, it might not have been a very good idea for any of us, because the Russians did have spies in our Project Manhattan, and they had the atomic bomb very shortly after we did. So
yeah.
Well,
the Nazis weren't too far off it themselves, were they?
Well, a lot of the scientists that worked on Project Manhattan were ex-Nazis.
Well, yeah, you got to put them to use. Greater good and all that jazz.
If the war had continued, Swan 732, do you think they would have not nuked the Germans? I don't know. It depends on the situation, because their whole. Well, I didn't know we were going to get into history lessons, but people seem to want to hear. So, the whole excuse of dropping the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki from Truman was to save both American and Japanese lives. Because the line of consensus pretty much was that a traditional assault on the Japanese homeland would be very costly, extremely costly in lives. And they'd already proved, without a shadow of doubt, that they were all willing to die, to fight to the death. And it wasn't just the Japanese army, it was the civilians, the women and the children. And they had convinced the women and children that the Americans were these terrible monsters that were going to rape and torture them, you know, and eat them, you know, after they killed them. They seriously told them that. And J Kid, yeah, wake up and stumble into history classes like I'm back in high school. They asked me, sorry, son. I know he doesn't like when I get off on history, but it's because he's heard it for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
But that was the whole reasoning or thinking behind the dropping of the bombs. Was to save both American and Japanese lives. And you can say, well, wait a minute, you know, like 80,000 people died at Hiroshima, Japanese. Yeah. But more than that died in the firebombing of Tokyo. That was just, it wasn't so much, the bombs weren't so much about the kill count, but a show of force to show, look, this is what we got and this is what we can do.
It stopped them dead, didn't it?
Yeah. You want to quit, don't you?
You'll back off. Look what we can do.
I don't know that the Germans, back to the question, I don't know that the Germans would have gone to that. I don't know that the German people, like the Japanese people, were willing to fight to the death. I think at the end, toward the end of the war, the German people were getting really tired of the war and warfare in general. And I don't think that they had that same suicide bomber, if you will, type attitude as the Japanese did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it would have been necessary in that case.
Well, it was very much cult of personality with Hitler, though, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
You know? And the guy got, as the years went on, he got a little bit more unhinged, as you know. Yeah. And tend to hide away for periods of time. And
yeah, and the more time he spent on his house, which the name of which is past, is left me. It did have a name, but you know, there's all kinds of famous films of dignitaries and different SS officials and whatnot visiting him up on that mountain retreat he had.
Yeah,
and
that's how he ran the country from there, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. And the more time he spent there, the worse he got, because the more separated from what was really going on he became. And so Yeah, exactly, Jedi Ghost Bear. Exactly. If you know anything about the Battle of Okinawa, you can have an idea of what an invasion of Japan would be like. Okinawa was terrible and extremely costly for both the Americans and the Japanese.
Mm.
The Japanese dug in, made miles and miles of tunnel work, and it wasn't because they thought that they could win. They knew they were going to lose. From the get-go, they absolutely knew they were going to lose Okinawa. Their only goal was to tie up the Americans at Okinawa for as long as they could.
Buy some time.
Yep. And it was very costly. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. But
what should I watch to learn about that?
About Okinawa?
Yeah.
Actually, as luck would have it, I was watching a thing on Netflix last night. Now the series is called Mega Weapons of the Nazis, but it's the very last episode of the very last season of that series is about Okinawa, and it's a very good, very good little documentary, about an hour long.
Is there like a dramatization of it?
Oh, probably.
Battle of Okinawa. Battle of Oka. There it is. Comes up. I'm sure there'll be a link to something that dramatizes it. Iwo Jima, is that it? The Battle of Iwo Jima.
No, that's
different place.
No, in Okinawa, it was all about the tunnel networks and the Japanese fighting from these tunnels that they had literally honeycombed through the entire southern half of the island.
I see where the Vietnamese got their tactics from then.
Well, they were sneaky too. They were sneaky. They knew that they had tunnels built down on the beaches and had at first planned on fighting them as like D-Day, you know.
Yeah.
But they knew they didn't have enough people, so they pulled them back into these mountain tunnels and let them land unabated. Not one shot fired at them. And this is a bigger invasion force than D-Day was.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, to this date, it was the biggest naval bombardment and invasion from sea in military history.
Oh, good Lord. Here we go. Here's the numbers, mate.
Yeah.
149,193 Okinawan civilians, 77,166 Imperial Japanese soldiers, 14,009 American soldiers. Oh, wow.
It was very costly and very bloody and took
82 Brits had died?
I think it took like either 6 or 8 weeks. I think it's 6 weeks to take it. And if you look on a world map, on a globe, Okinawa is not a very big island.
82,000 American casualties. No, wait a minute. Hold on a second. This ain't right. I wish those dogs would shut the.
But yeah, of course. There you go, people. If you get me started on history, I'm not going to ever shut up. It's your fault.
Well, that's good.
It reminds me of my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Bassesi. I'll never forget. Nice old man in 5th grade. Nice man. And yes, Prospero, a lot of those civilians were suicide because they believed the stories that the Japanese had told them, that the Americans were monsters that would eat them and torture them and rape them. And, and they'd rather commit suicide than fall prey to that. But Mr. Bassesi was a nice guy. But we found out early on, you know how kids are. They'll take any advantage they can. We found out early on, his big claim to fame was he was related to Daniel Boone. And if you got him talking about Daniel Boone, you could forget about class for the rest of the day. There'd be no homework. But
I was trying to break down these numbers because you know how Wikipedia is.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the most, goodly. source in the world.
Wikipedia is a good jumping off point. You just have to check all your sources.
Yeah, you do, because the numbers don't seem right here.
They were pretty. The numbers you read out loud were, as I recall, were probably pretty close to accurate.
They contradict each other in the article. It'd be better for me to actually go to a proper history.
I know there was well over 100,000 civilians that died.
Yeah,
and a bunch of Japanese imperial, and quite a few Americans. Because, like I started to say a while ago, they waited. They let them land, didn't even fire a shot, and they let them get way inland and right on top of them. They had orders to let them get right on top of them. And in some areas, the Americans thought there was nobody left. They were just having picnics out on the ground until the machine guns opened up.
Yeah.
And the early days of that conflict was a slaughter, because they did lull the Americans into a false sense of security.
Yeah. See, again, like the article that I'm looking at, the Encyclopedia Britannica contradicts the Wikipedia. Don't ever use Wikipedia; it's garbage. Okay, so 12,000. Say this one says there's claimed the lives of more than 12,000 Americans, 100,000 Japanese. I wonder which British ships were in attendance then supporting. HMS Exeter must have been one of them.
It might have been.
I know that the Exeter was in that area of the world, fighting alongside you guys.
The only thing I know for sure that it was the biggest naval bombardment in history, even bigger than D-Day. So it was a lot of shells fell. Only problem is they didn't kill anybody because they were all buried up in them tunnels.
And there it is, Japanese battleship Yamato.
Oh, the Yamato,
beast of a ship.
The arguably, well, not even really arguably, the most monstrous, deadly battleship ever made, and never sunk a single ship.
It's still a beast, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, but they realized what Hitler realized with his big battleships really quick, that they were susceptible to air attack.
Yep.
And that was the end of the battleship and the dawning of the age of the aircraft carrier.
Yep. And that's when missiles first started coming into play as well. That's the only good thing about these World War scenarios is the advancement of technology. That's it.
Oh, yeah, and they did.
Oh, good Lord. I'm just trying to look through this. Of course,
I remember that, J-Kid. I loved that game, Axis and Allies. I could play that. I no longer have it, but
30,000 shells.
Oh,
on one hill.
Yeah. And they didn't kill anybody.
It's a lot of wildlife, I'd imagine.
Yeah, a lot of trees.
Yeah. 34 ships were sunk. 26 as a result of suicide attacks.
Yeah.
Wow. Good Lord, the numbers here are staggering.
Actually, Swan 732, the Yamato, as I recall, had 8 10-inch guns. Biggest guns ever on a ship. If I am not mistaken.
God damn. The numbers are staggering on here.
Yeah, Okinawa was no joke. So they took that lesson that they learned on Okinawa and they thought, yeah, the mainland Japan's going to be even worse. And every one of these people, and civilians included, are going to fight to the death. This is an enemy that doesn't care to die. So how do you fight that? You know? And I'm not saying I'm in agreement with dropping the bombs, but it did what it was supposed to do, and it stopped the war.
And that's why nukes exist in the first place. Well, they have a different kind of meaning in the modern era with mutually assured destruction and all that jazz, but it's a weapon that stops shit dead. Stop a country dead in their tracks.
But there was one more thing that I wanted to at least cover before we got to the end of the stream. We've got about a half hour left here. And it won't take long. It's not really a rant or anything. It's just an opinion. Trump earlier today sent out a tweet saying that he's working on having a constitutional amendment that makes burning the flag, the U.S. flag, illegal.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. And I don't know how you all feel about it, but here's my feeling. I'm very patriotic. I'm about as patriotic as you get.
America, bitch.
That's right. And yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it before. In my house, when we're watching sports and the national anthem is playing, everybody better get quiet. Because that's just the way, and everybody does, because they know that's the way it is. All the grandkids, everybody hushes until it's over. You know, it's just respect. And I don't like seeing people disrespecting my flag. I don't like seeing people burning it. It hurts me in a place very deep in my heart. But I don't want to make it illegal, because that's contrary to freedom. If these people that are burning the flags own the flags, I'll make that caveat. Now, if they're burning flags they don't own, then that's a whole nother kettle of fish. A whole nother discussion. But if they're burning flags that they bought and paid for, fine. Let them waste that money by burning it. And at least that way I know who the idiots are.
It's their property, and I suppose it's an expression. So yeah, there's freedom of expression as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I don't like it. I hate it when people do it. It really bothers me. It does. I'll admit it. You know, but make it illegal? No, I'm not for that. Of course, somebody on Twitter, I don't remember who it was right now, but one of our fellow creators said, well, and they were a Canadian, by the way, so they may not know, you know, but they said, oh, well, you know, it's all about the Constitution until it's not. And I think it was Monkey that brought back up to them, if it became a constitutional amendment, it would be constitutional. That's the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
And let me remind you, in case you don't know, and some of you, not being American, may not know, getting a constitutional amendment is not an easy task. That's why in 240 years of the existence of our country, there's only been 27. Which is not very many over 240 years.
Yeah.
It's not easy. First, you have to get a 2/3 vote on it in both the House and the Senate. And then it has to get a 3/4 vote of all the states. The other way it could happen is the states could call a convention, get a 2/3 of the states, but then it has to go back out for another vote, and again have 3/4 of the state. And even no matter how popular a subject might be or an amendment might be, that is not an easy thing to do. You know, to get 3/4 of the American people behind your plan is not as easy as it might sound.
Yeah. Especially something on a well, we're living in a very politically charged time as well. This is how I know that you'll never give up that Second Amendment right there, because with too many red states, this won't happen.
Yeah, and Prospero, I do agree with what you say in theory. I certainly don't worship the flag. I mean, when you come down to it, the flag's just a piece of cloth. It's a piece of cloth. Although I think it's a good looking piece of cloth. I may be prejudiced, but I think we have a pretty good looking flag in this country. But it's not that. It's the idea behind what that flag stands for. And for me, that stands for my country. And I do love my country. As unpopular as that may be in some circles, I love my country.
Mm-hmm. No, I think I've only ever done one video on this topic before, because there was some fucking idiot who stole somebody else's American flag and tried to burn it. Which, of course, is a completely different scenario because you're stealing somebody's property. Yeah. It's theft. And then you're destroying their property, which is another charge.
Yeah, that's destruction of property. That's a whole nother kettle of fish.
Yes, that's 2 charges, theft and destruction of property. Do I think you should have the right to do it? Absolutely. It's covered by your constitution. Do I think you should be able to walk into a Walmart and do it? No.
I'm a believer in letting people do stupid things because that way I know who the stupid people are.
Yeah, but you still shouldn't be able to do stuff like that in like a private business. You know, you can't walk into a cinema and do that. You know, so that's out of order.
Yeah,
so serious risks right there. But yeah, if you're doing it in your front garden, whatever, it's your flag, it's your property. Do what you like. If you want to be a prick, then be a prick.
Yeah, absolutely. So, did you say that you had something earlier on in the stream?
Yeah, it's crazy, bitch.
Okay.
I seen on Twitter. She disgusted me so much. I even tagged Jeff Holiday on it as well. I know how
anti-vaxxer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It really got me. Got me thinking. Got my almonds activated. Yeah, it makes me. I'm seriously considering doing a video on anti-vaxxers and flat earthers because some flat earther had a crack at me earlier today. I did share it on Twitter. If I just get it up real quick.
Yeah.
On my stream. Where is it? Yeah, this guy left a comment after the stream was done. He said, "This is complete shit. Don't waste our time, cocksucker." I said, "Don't watch it then, faggot." I went and had a look at his channel. He's a flat earther, so now I kind of want to have a dig at him. I kind of want to have a dig at the flat earther because they're fucking stupid. Is that guy blocked me? No, he deleted his tweet. He got ratioed. You know the guy who was complaining about offering $500 for a 48-hour stream? Bloodwing?
Do what? I'm sorry, I was reading something in chat and didn't quite hear you. What'd you say?
You know the guy who was like complaining about putting a $500 bounty for a person to stream for 48 hours?
Yeah.
They got ratioed and deleted their tweet.
As they should have. And I know if Muggy was here, he'd disagree with me because he made his opinion clear on Twitter. And you know, for more money, he would do it, kind of thing. But for me, what's it going to prove? What's it going to prove? So you streamed for 48 hours straight. What's that going to prove? Nothing. You can take that ability and take $5, like I said, and go down to the local.
Real quick, Bloodwing. We'll get to that, Blood. I'm sorry to interrupt you, mate, but I can't show you the tweets.
You can't.
No, she's protected her tweets. She's protected her profile.
Imagine that.
Well, that's what you get for spouting a load of shit about, you know, oh, my kids have autism and they weren't right. They were perfectly fine until they had a vaccine and then they weren't bad. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
No, they did not, you fucking idiot.
I mean, this anti-vaxxer stuff has seriously, it's went on since there was such a thing as vaccinations. From the time that medical science started inventing vaccinations, there were people opposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And in all that time, no one has ever come up with concrete proof that it causes autism or any other harm.
Just give me a moment.
But
yeah, she's protected her account. She's got a Patreon. Oh yeah, give money to an anti-vaxxer dick.
No, thank you.
Ugh. I actually hate anti-vaxxers. Like flat earthers, they're dumb, but they're funny. Anti-vaxxers are dangerous.
Oh, but yeah, they're exactly the reason why we are now this country is experiencing the biggest measles outbreak in decades. A disease that in the year 2000, people they had announced it dead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who enters my? Oh, you're off to work now, baby. I'm just gonna see the missus out, mate.
Okay,
back in a minute.
All right. So how you doing, chat? What's going on out there? We got 20 minutes left to the stream. Yes, Bansman, autism is genetic. It is. Functional, we would always dismiss such people as the neighborhood crazies, but with social media, they have a very loud voice, and people are all too happy to click on their stuff and engage, bolstering them. Yeah, I agree. That's part of the reason some of this seems to be making a big upsurge now because of the advent of social media. What am I playing these days? Functional ass. Well, Star Trek Online, because of Redneck Trek, and also the last game that J Kid sent me, and the name of it's went right out my head. Maybe he'll hear me and give the answer here. RJ Bands, happy Father's Day, Gramps. Thank you very much. Joel Brown says, I'm good, Bloodwing. I'm just enjoying the stream. Glad you're enjoying it. XCOM 2, yeah, thank you. My memory. Yeah, great game. Little bit of a learning curve to start with, because it's not really, or at least for me it was, because it's not really apparent
Oh my God, it's smoky
how to set it up. But once you learn.
No wonder I've got such a violent cough. Hello.
Hello. Functional says, oh, nice. I play a bit of STO Star Trek Online. I'll have to add you. Yeah. I don't just play with, I am playing with other characters. And now and again, I'm not spending a lot of time on it, but yeah, been playing some of it. Been more into the watching videos and documentaries kind of thing than playing video games lately.
Yeah, I haven't played anything since April, mate. I've just been binging anime. Of course, there was that week where I binged. Well, I didn't binge it. I was just watching like a new episode every day of the Hitler's Inner Circle. Yeah, super interesting stuff, you know.
Yeah, I've already watched that one. I'm pretty sure.
You probably have.
Anything to do with World War II, I usually snap it up pretty quick.
Probably nothing new to you, though.
It doesn't matter.
That particular documentary, anyway.
It doesn't matter. No matter how much that I think that I know about it, I'm always learning new stuff. And I'm all about getting into the minutia of it. Of all the stuff surrounding it. So I'll take a look at that later, Jedi Ghost Bear. Thank you. Kyler says, I'm avoiding mowing the lawn with y'all. Well, good for you, because I understand that is because that is my least favorite job of all, is mowing the grass. I can't stand it. I know a lot of guys like it. I hate it.
I wouldn't mind it if I had like an American-styled mower. Yeah. And a big enough garden for it, I guess.
The biggest reason that I hate it is that I have hay fever, and nothing sets it off quicker than fresh cut grass. And along with the hay fever, I also have allergy-induced asthma. So when my allergies kick in, I get asthma and can't breathe. And so, yeah, it's not a good time for me mowing grass.
I don't mind it. It's just a pain in the ass, man.
Too much work for me.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. So that bitch was spouting some anti-vaxxer crap, and I think she got ratioed, hence why she protected her account. Yeah, but the guy that we were talking about before that was a chap, Twitch streamer, who'd put out a bounty offering, well, I guess, decent-sized Twitch streamers to stream for 48 hours straight, offering up a measly $500, and then complaining about it on Twitter.
Yeah, because people wouldn't do it.
I can only assume that he had gone to like the big Twitch streamers with that offer.
Yeah.
Like the big Twitch streamers, the guys that do it for a living, Like I imagine that's just pennies to them, you know? That's just pocket change. He's offering up a measly $500 for a 48-hour marathon. And then he's calling it, you got to put the grind in, man. What? That's not grind.
No.
Grinding is getting off your ass every day and then sitting back on your ass at your computer and then digging deep, you know, creating entertaining streams and staying entertaining for the entire thing.
Well, like I started
making
saying,
videos or whatever, you know.
Like I started saying earlier, what's it going to prove? Unless the marathon stream is for a good cause, like for charity, like we did for Charlie or something like that. Then what's the point? What's it going to prove? Okay, so you can sit there for 2 days straight, you know, torturing yourself on a stream. Okay, so what? That and $5 might get you a cup of coffee down at your local Starbucks.
Yeah. all you're gonna do with that, right, is there's some health implications there. Like you might give yourself a bloody hernia, or not hernia, but the things. What's the things you get in your ass? I forget what they're called.
Hemorrhoids.
Yeah, give yourself hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna dehydrate yourself. You're probably gonna ruin the game that you're playing for yourself as well by playing it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, and the health risks are probably more dangerous than people are considering, because, you know, we have examples of people spending too much time in front of a video game, not taking enough breaks, and even dying from it.
Yeah. I remember a case of that, actually. Yeah. A lad who he just died.
Yeah, it's not good on your body, folks. It is not. Necrosol, just no, I have not thought of a t-shirt for Redneck Trek, but I have been thinking, I will consider it, because I have been thinking about maybe getting some merch going here soon. I just got to get off my lazy butt and do it.
That guy was such a dick as well. I was like, oh, I did a 57-hour stream once.
Well, good on you.
Bully for you, mate.
Yeah.
Bully for you.
What, you want, a cookie?
Like from a viewer's perspective, like, it might be a bit entertaining, like a bit of a novelty to watch a guy for stream for a couple of hours, then sort of, you know, go off and do your own thing, go to your job, come back the next day, see he's still going, you know, checking in on him, see how he's doing. But unless you're doing it for a good cause, then what's the point?
Yeah, there isn't any. It's just like all those other stupid challenges, you know, like the cinnamon challenge, and we've all seen them. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, at least the cinnamon challenge would get a few laughs out of it. Like a 48-hour stream, like, you saw how I was by the end of the 12-hour one.
Oh my gosh, you were darn near delirious, I think.
It wasn't even because I was tired either. It's being sat there.
Yeah.
And being like, because when you're on a stream, you're hyper aware of the fact that you're on a stream. And obviously, I really wanted to do the best thing for Charlie possible, you know, and I was speaking to all different kinds of people. I was obviously worrying about certain aspects. You know, could my internet go down? Is OBS going to be all right? Is the stream going to be okay? Am I going to have enough viewers? Am I going to be able to entertain enough viewers? Am I going to be able to get guests? You know, there was a lot on my mind, you know, and I really, really wanted it to go well. By the end, I was exhausted. I was just like, physically, I was okay. Like I've done 12-hour night shifts before. Like, I can do that shit in my sleep, but like, and obviously I was taking breaks where I was getting up and stretching off and stuff like that. And obviously I had all the monsters. Like I had 6 cans of Monster.
I don't think they could pay me enough to do it unless it was for, like with Charlie, a good cause. Yeah. I'll put myself on the line for something like that. But for just to prove I could do it, you couldn't pay me enough. Folks, these streams only run for 2 hours. And at the end of the 2 hours, you don't understand, I'm exhausted. It may sound funny, and I don't really know why, but I'm exhausted. I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah, man. Like, obviously I have a lot more endurance than Mr. Bloodwing does. I'm a chatterbox anyway. I can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But 3-hour stream today, 2-hour stream now. Yeah. After Ghost Poo, like, it takes me ages to calm down after an episode of Ghost Poo, because of how the show is and how it's formatted and the kind of banter we have. Like, I'm not like tired, but it takes me ages to kind of like mellow myself out afterwards, you know? Yeah. I get things are different on Twitch, and like, yeah, even the big professionals like Dr. Disrespect, who I'm fairly sure was booted off of Twitch recently, but I know at the start of his streams, he has like all these different graphics and like colorful, crazy intro, and he does a lot of talking. He plays a character and stuff like that. Has like a green screen background, but after an hour, he's playing a game. He's not talking.
Yeah,
he's playing the game, and I guess that's what's expected on Twitch. But for 48 hours, no, for $500, that's not even £500.
Yeah, it's rougher on you than it might appear. I remember before I ever started streaming, you know, I was a creator before I ever got any stream. You know, I didn't just pop out of nowhere and people started inviting me to streams. You know, it just didn't happen. But I would watch some of these streams and think, well, you know, that sounds like a pretty easy thing to do and kind of fun, until I'd done my first one. And my first one was a Base Mama stream, one of them 8-hour jobbies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, was I tired? It's a whole lot more exhausting and tiring than you might think. And I'm not exactly sure why it is. It just is.
It's because you're hyper aware, man.
Yeah.
You want to, you're sat in the same position for a long period of time. You want to be able to put on a good show. You don't want to say anything stupid as well. So you're hyper aware of that shit.
Yep.
And you want to make sure that the viewers that you have stay the viewers. And like, I get the Twitch streaming is like, it's the main shtick, right? It's how you grow or whatever. But like, he's saying, oh, the grind. Well, presumably when you say the grind, you're trying to give like a motivational speech. So you got to grind if you want to grow. Well, you're not going to get new followers if new people turn up at hour 46 and you're dead. and you're just like you sat there monging out, or you're falling asleep. Like how many times have we seen these streams, like big gamer streamers who fell asleep at their desk playing a game?
You and I both have been on streams where people have fell asleep.
Yeah, Dax. Although to be fair, he's tired for a good reason. Like he's come home from work. He works not like kind of like a partial night shift, doesn't he? So
yeah, I can remember being on one of your streams and somebody fell asleep, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was at this moment. But
I don't get it either.
Yeah,
I don't get this. Like these streams, I understand why people watch them.
Yeah,
like you and me, we're going back and forth, have a bit of banter. We work well together. We talk about interesting things.
Yeah, people apparently find that interesting. So
we talk about the news. We give our opinions. The chat gets involved. It's interactive. I see why it's, I see why people do it. I see why people sit there and watch it. But a gaming stream, and Twitch and stuff, I just don't get it. Like,
no, I don't either. I mean, and I do enjoy my gaming. You and I both are huge Neebs gaming fans, and I get that. I can watch them do their videos all day long, but to sit and watch them just not talk and play a game for hours upon end, I don't think I could do that.
I get like there's a lot of entertaining people on Twitch. They wouldn't be as big as they are if they weren't. And there are people who have come up with ingenious ways of making streams, unique, and not just a guy on camera in the corner of the stream playing Call of Duty. There are some very interesting characters on Twitch. I mean, there's the Tourette's lady, who's very entertaining, and I think she's quite pretty as well. Yeah, Dr. Disrespect. He plays a character when he's on a stream. He's got like a big green screen thing with like a crazy background, and he plays this kind of character. Yeah,
they were actually talking about him on the last Neebs podcast because they were just out in California, and Thick got to meet Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, he's an interesting character,
a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, and he's come up with a unique way to attract viewers, and that's awesome. But like the average guy who just sits there with the camera in the corner and has the game up and doesn't really say much.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Random Americans is actually Bloodwing. We watch these just to make sure you're still alive. Oh, well, I didn't know you cared. Thank you.
I'm here because I'm his carer.
Oh, okay. So we got 5 minutes left. So I reckon we can take questions for 5 minutes.
I don't get why people watch me.
I've always been a very self-depreciating person. You know, it's not that I don't think I have talents and that I'm not capable. It's not that. It's just, like you said, I don't understand. I don't get why people watch me. I'm glad they do.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't understand it particularly.
So time to change your bedpan, Bear. You mean time to change the diaper? Functional says, I've always wanted to do game streams. The reason why I stopped doing game streams is because of backseat gamers. I can't stand it. I can't stand them. I hate it.
Oh,
it winds me up. It just drives me mad. It's like, shut up, dude.
Oh, people trying to tell you how to play.
Yeah, you shove your tips up your ass, right? I'm learning. Like if it's new, I'm learning, and if it's not new, I do things my way. Piss off. Don't come here trying to tell me what to do.
RJ Bandsman asked, what PC operating system have you used that isn't Windows? Well, I've used just about every version of Windows, including Windows 3.1. But my first computer ran off of TRS-80 or Tristos on a TRS-80. So, yeah.
Joe Brown says, because I'm very entertaining. I mean, I'm an excitable dude, and I get that it's funny when I trip over myself and stuff, but like I end up gulping for air quite a lot on streams.
Yeah.
And tripping over myself.
Yeah.
Forgetting things as well.
Yeah. Owen Harmon says, because you're funny and insightful, and then same to you, Bloodwing. I guess. I reckon I'm funny. My grandkids are always telling me that, Papa, you funny. And I guess that's a compliment. I'm not sure how they mean it. They might mean
I had an idea earlier. I had an idea
did?
earlier. Yeah, well, two ideas actually, funny enough.
Uh-huh.
You know how Cog and Sin will have like these streams where like Cog will play like old streams or whatever, but Sin will have the creepy sins, the creepy pastas, you know, going for like 12 hours or whatever on a stream. He'll have them all back to back. I was thinking about doing that with Lord Bear videos on Irate Alex.
If your throat would hold up.
Well, no.
Oh, record them and then show. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, the ones that have already been
and
gone, I just have them all like, it would take me quite a while to render a lot of them together, but string them all together and then just have them playing for like a 12-hour period.
Yeah, it might work.
I don't know. I'd have to edit some of them. I'd have to edit out all of the credits and stuff.
RJ Bansma asked if I've ever used Linux. Just a little bit. I had just started to play around with it on a computer that I had, and then the hard drive on that computer bit the dust, and I didn't get back into it. So just a very little bit. Not much experience really at all.
The other idea I had, and I actually had this idea a while back, is that I would I'd hook up my phone and I'd have it just streaming me doing the things that I do at my PC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of like a Truman Show jobby,
right?
But with one camera. I don't know. I think that I don't know if people would like.
Shoot, I'm always at my computer because my computer's right here at my recliner. So
yeah, I spend a huge amount of time at mine. You know, if I'm not making content, if I'm not streaming, I'm arguing with people on Twitter or networking. I'm trying to get back into the networking thing because I'm good at that shit. Or I'm talking to people on Discord. Well, not voice chat, but DMs and stuff. Or watching anime.
Yeah.
I figured that I could
Which reminds me of something that I did want to tell you, Bear, because I've been teasing you while you haven't watched Redneck Trek yet. But I get it. You don't quite like Star Trek, and I understand that. I wouldn't watch your anime content either because I don't like anime. So
Go
it's
on.
all good. It's all good.
Go on.
What?
I think you were going somewhere with this.
No, I was just saying it's all good. I understand it.
No, I'm going to watch your thing.
Oh, I'm not sure.
And
You
by the
really
way,
wanted to say that way because if somebody clips that bit out, I'm going to watch your thing.
No, I am going to watch it. I am. And I didn't say I wasn't into Star Trek, dude. I just wasn't massively into it, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I watched it as a kid.
The good thing about that is this isn't really about Star Trek. It's just in the Star Trek world. It's all about a clueless redneck trying to make his way through the Star Trek world. J-Kid, yeah, I haven't been on Discord for a while. It tends to crash my computer, but if I can get it to be stable, I will take a look.
Discord is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
it really is.
I don't know why it is. If I fire up Discord right after I've rebooted the computer, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But if it's been a few days since I last rebooted it and tried to fire it up, the second it loads, bang, blue screen. I don't know what it is.
Discord is memory heavy.
Yeah.
It's I have to close Discord when I record videos on Facecam. I actually have to close a lot of things because of how memory heavy OBS is for it.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it hasn't always, but in probably the last, oh, you'll send it Twitter DMs? Yeah, I'm more likely to get it there. And it's not that I have anything against Discord. It's just I can't get it to be stable. It just crashes. For the last month, maybe month and a half, it's been crashing my computer on a regular basis. And it just got to the point where, okay, I'm done messing with you. Screw that.
I wish this thing would stay still. I'm trying to. Oh, I want to try and tell you how much memory this takes up on my computer, and it keeps moving.
Arthurian sounds like RAM issues to me. I wouldn't doubt it. I've got 8 gig of RAM on this laptop, which is twice as much as it came with. But there does seem to be a problem with my RAM since my daughter's dog knocked my laptop into the floor a year or so ago, a year and a half or so ago, and cracked the case. I think sometimes it's not recognizing the RAM, and sometimes it does.
Chrome is very heavy on RAM.
But anyway, we have run past it a little bit, just a little bit.
A little bit.
Nothing bad, just a few minutes. But thank you for everybody for coming out and supporting me by your presence and your likes and your shares and all that, because I've said it before and I'll just keep saying it because I can't say it enough. This couldn't happen without you. Could not happen without you. And thank you for those that were able to give monetarily. I do appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you as always, Bear, for showing up and talking with me today. Anything you want to share?
Yeah, I made a Lord Bear video yesterday, guys. It's having a go at a pageant mother who's not only just a terrible person for being a pageant mother in the first place, but had children specifically so she could get involved in pageants. So as Lord Bear often does, he rips into her, and rightly so. It's linked there in the chat. Please go give it a watch, guys. Let me know what you thought. And if you like it, please share it around as well.
Yep, absolutely. Do it. And beyond, of course, join us for the next Redneck Radio, which will be Tuesday.
Fuck you, J-Kid.
I don't know what he said, but he probably deserved it, knowing him. and the degenerate bear. Oh, okay. Anyway, the next episode of Redneck Radio will be Tuesday at 2:30 EST, and also be on the lookout for episode 2 of Redneck Trek tomorrow. I'm shooting for about a 5:30 premiere. We'll see what happens.
But, love you too, brother. Shitbag.
Now you're getting it. Now you're fitting right in. Now you're like one of us. Anyway, thank you, everybody. And as always, get out of my yard.
Bye, guys.